Hello everyone, how is it going? Hello Twitch. Hello YouTube. Hello Phoenix. Congrats on first twice today. Hello Julio. Hello dear scholars. Hello Mantis, welcome on in. Hello. The on stream today is probably like a little bit shorter. Just a tad. Like we're here to get productivity done. We're here to get productivity done. So it's the goal. That's the goal. Oh, eyes of Kindle. Thank you for the follow. Welcome on here. Okay, chat. So y'all might see this in the Twitch chat right now. I have a draft of this emo, so we need to finish this up. So how I did this one is I decided to be kind of lazy, and instead of actually use the symmetry tool, I drew like half the forehead and then I flipped half of it. So I drew this half of like a general sketch of one side. And then I duplicated it, and then I drew the other side for like the base body. And then for these flames, I ended up flipping these flames, basically. And we changed a little bit of the stuff on the cheek. But I've been seeing that like emote go around in the like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitch community. And I thought, you know, we should make one of these. No, it's supposed to be the like Floet Freaky emote. And I thought like Floet would be a good one because it has like a similar hangout, like not hangout, it has a similar like shape to the cat. A similar shape to the cat. So if it looks a little weird, I'm hoping that like it looks a little bit less choppy when we line it out. But if you're wondering like why it has like that little ball in the middle, it's because I got kind of lazy and we flipped it. Oh, hello Libertine. Hello, Okami. On air. Mino, I hope you're well. So that's what I'm hoping to finish up today. People were asking if this is KBJ. This is unfortunately not the KBJ the streamer. Though KBJ is a Floet. That is a true statement. That KBJ is a Floet. Hello, I see. Thank you again for your support. I did see big orders go through. So hopefully there's no more issues after that. Thank you for the pet. So we're just gonna do this and we're gonna yap today. That's kind of the plan. Oh, I forgot to turn on my time-lapse recording. Shoot. Oh, whatever. It's fine. You get a new character. So I don't normally have too many emotes on the channel that aren't like directly related to my character, but I thought this would be like a good one. Maybe. So we just have to do the line art and then the covering for it. Bushin's going to have a crazy time spamming it. I hope Bushin enjoys it. I actually really like Floet as a Pokemon, so like this is also good for me. You know, realistically speaking, I should probably just do the same thing I did with the other layers, which is like draw this and then flip it. Ooh, I really like how I did that here. It's not as pointy as I thought it would be, but I really like how the curve on this here ended up. Actually. Like, that's actually a really smooth curve. I'm kind of impressed. Like, in theory, chat, in theory, In theory, I just need to do half this, like, emote. And then flip it. That's like the hope. We'll see how the execution goes, but in theory, this is all we have to do. And then we can do it twice as fast. In theory. Still working. The world still spins, it truly still spins. And I feel like this has to be kind of like... kind of it. So that you can see it from following, you know? Y'all are going to watch me redraw the same line like up to 2 times. But a much shorter stream this evening, probably like 2 hours at most. Maybe an hour and a half or an hour. It really depends on how I feel energy wise. I thought I would take a nap and I ended up doing a bunch of stuff, so. We're just trying to be a little productive this evening when it comes to our stuff, you know? I think that's pretty darn close to what I want, so I think we're just going to have to accept that as is. Color that in, and then we can add a separate white dye thing. The mouth is going to be the one thing we don't do. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna make a new layer from the mouth so I can keep all these layers together. The body. going to duplicate this and be a little bit lazy. And then we're going to do that for every single flame. We just need to clean up the this part up here. And go up here, and we hide this layer. I think that's like not terrible. It looks maybe like a little cartoony, but I think that's okay. And I might add some more like line weight variation to the sides. Maybe. Maybe. We'll consider. So let's save our progress. And we're going to repeat this whole process. We're going to repeat this whole process. For every single frame. Well, not every single frame. So we only have to do, let's see, one. Let's hide this. 1, 2, 3. So the tongue moves some frames, but we only have to do the body for these 3 frames, and we can flip the body. So we only have to do the body for 2 more frames, then we can reuse the body for the other frame. So we're nearly there, chat. We're nearly there. Wood. Welcome. Now this one's a little bit different because I can't just flip it. Because this side of the body isn't like completely symmetrical. But it's alright. It gave us good progress on the other one. Pokemon is definitely like a Pokemon of all time. I think it's quite iconic. It's just like because of like all the meme videos. I'm not sure if I like that, but we'll keep going and we can go back and make it. do like the... But Chad, how is the rest of your weekend? Have you all been having a good weekend? Again, today is just chilling. Today is chilling. Today's what? Today is a lot of things. Anyone do anything fun or exciting? Chad, did y'all know that it's Mother's Day soon? Ah, you're just starting your weekend? I used to work weekends a lot too. So I feel that. I feel. Let me double check something. Well, I guess the paws do move a little bit. So I guess it's fine if the paws move. How are you so excited? Yeah, I don't... Josh also, like, is finishing up his last roleplay of the week. I have something interesting this week, actually. I don't know if we're going to do Wolf Wizards chat. The reason being is I actually have, like, a... what's the... I have a pre-release event for, like, Riftbound this week. That I had signed up for like many moons ago. So that's taking place on Tuesday. Is that forward? Ayo, my goat, my horse, however this is forward. We're doing forward weekly. Yeah, let me hide the line on later and show you how it's looking. We're making forward weekly. Many talent. He walk and he look real and true. He does have many talents. Forward is a multifaceted creature. You don't know what to do on the weekend that doesn't cost money? That's fair. I mean, I don't know how I'm spending my weekend right now. We're drunk and doing what, so... Take that how you will, I suppose. I think it's a pretty solid weekend regardless. You see me? Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, this style of emo has been very popular, so I wanted to do one of it. Oh, come on, yeah. So we're hanging out. Y'all are free to yap with me. Sometimes I like do focus in a little bit on the art, but like has nothing to do with y'all, everything to do with me. That was actually for me a very impressive curve. For me, chat, that was actually very clean. I'm kind of impressed with myself. I don't know who it is, but thank you to them. It's like kind of entertaining. I've been seeing it like in a lot of my other friends' channels. I'm like, well, I guess we have to get one of these now. Like, we don't have to, but it would be nice to have one. The bomb demon from Team Salon. Interesting to find out where twins come from. So I'm using a not completely black for the line art this time around. It's like the first time I haven't used a complete black that isn't color, so we'll see how it looks. I have good what's the word, expectations. I think it will go over well. How are these? How are we doing? Not too shabby. How are you, Bobby? Am I working on any other emotes? I'll say yes here, because I probably do need to work on a bunch of other emotes for the channel, but like technically nothing that I have to work on, if that makes sense. Like there's stuff that I should do in terms of like, oh, that would be a good idea. But like, nothing that like anyone has like tied me down to doing. There's no obligation, if that makes sense. That might be too strong on the eyebrow, but whatever. Memes? No, not really. We do art on occasion. It just depends on like how busy I am. I like to do art, and I really should keep up with it, but it's very time consuming to have to do. When like we could be playing games or something. It's very easy to like not do stuff. It's very easy to procrastinate on it, you know? Okay, I feel like we gotta make the pupil on this side a little bit smaller. Something like that. Something like that. Now the line art's like a little bit off from this one, but like we'll just stick in the line art on the sides to make up. I think we just stick in the line art. I think that's a good plan. Are you working on any art? Are you in the art category because you like watching people do art? Are you in that art category because you do art? Or both? I suppose both is always an option. Now we duplicate this. Now it should look a bit more consistent. One more flame, and then all we gotta do is change the mouth flame to that. So let's hop back down to this layer, but in terms of consistency. Okay, so this is almost exactly the same, but the head tilt is a little bit different. So we can actually be lazy. I love being lazy. I don't know why it's showing up as green. What did we do to this layer? Huh. How strange. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer. And because this flame is basically the same as this flame, but a little bit adjusted, we just need to adjust the flame. So we need to adjust... We need to adjust the face. So we're gonna go down to this layer. We're going to delete everything on this layer. Actually, let's just delete the entire layer. I'm gonna go to this layer. I'm going to delete this entire layer. I'm gonna go to this layer. Huh? We're going to delete this entire layer. I'm gonna delete this one too. And this one. I'm gonna go here. We're gonna delete this one. And this one. I wonder if we can get kind of lazy with the eyes. If I just move this over, will this be good enough? Work smarter, not harder, Tao. Work smarter, not harder, you know? Now we're going to delete these. And can we be lazy with this one? Can we just move these over? We might be able to. Maybe. No, I think it's probably better to redraw them. Hello, Maturity. Welcome on. Let's go ahead and save all this. That is a pretty solid curve, and I cleaned this up enough to where we don't need to redraw it. We might be able to salvage. Hopefully that doesn't look too bad for the light. Okay. Almost done, I think, with, like the basics, and then we can just redo the tongue. It's actually going a lot faster than I thought it would. Oh, it's looking like it. I'm pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. First light, welcome on in. How are you? How are you? Welcome on in. We are working on an emote today. Kind of like a short productivity stream tonight. Not too crazy, you know. I think to make it more consistent, I have the hop here. But just a little bit of the line weight variation. I guess also part of me feels like this should move a little bit. I'm not sure if it like moves over like this. Maybe it just does. Maybe it comes over a little bit like this. To compensate for everything. Maybe it comes over this tiny bit. Ever so slightly because it's moving. Let's go ahead and save. Now what's going to happen is we need to repeat some of these frames and we also need to flip them. I also need to go look at forward because I'm pretty sure forward has like these ear things that it has going on. Let's go more of a reference image for it. Forward has like the stripes and the ears. Is there like a picture of this thing with head on? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here. I'm going to make a new layer. And have this be a multiplier. I'm going to add it for its little like triangle ear things. I think that's how those look. I think that's probably good enough. Maybe they're like a little bit smaller actually. Maybe more like this. So, it's going to be like kind of complicated. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to edit this. Going to move this layer out. That should be like a close enough to like flipping it all the way over. Should be basically symmetrical. And we're gonna add it to all of these other layers. Oh, yeah. And then we should be good to go from there. Copy this. But actually go here. Add this one here. And then now we are nearly done. Just so that stays consistent across everything. Let's see. In terms of like weekend plans that are like affordable, I used to like me and my friends used to do stuff like plan to go to like the park sometimes. I don't really do that as much anymore. Like sometimes there's places you can go and things you can do that don't require like copious amounts of money and such. There's activities that can be done. Sometimes y'all can just hang out. I think. I'm not too busy to do that as of like some time. Unfortunately. I duplicate this. I think it does look better when it just show up in the corner. I guess it depends on if we want the pause to move or not. But let's save here and we can pick it up. Oh, cute. What's the forward for? This is just like a general Twitch emote. It's like a trend right now on Twitch. So I wanted to make this for the channel because I thought it would be like kind of interesting. I've been seeing people use this emote a lot. And sometimes the thing you do on Twitch is you make it's a strategy to make emotes that people will like to use. So, I think this is an emote people would like to use. Oh, you too. I think it's definitely like a shorter stream for the evening. Like, if we finish this up, like, we might just end after we finish this up. Like, that's kind of the whole goal of the stream is to get this done, so. Hope y'all don't mind. I call this one 4. Actually, I wonder if we can just flip this horizontally. We're so good at this job. We'll duplicate this layer. I think this layer 6 actually. Like I think this one unironically goes here. Do is this one and put this horizontal. Yeah, we'll flip this. Okay, so maybe it matches this one more. And then it should also match this one. So we duplicate this one again. And this one's actually going to be number 8. Then we just have to go here to 3. And then we duplicate 3. We'll call this 7. And now we'll drag this over here. And then we just have to flip it horizontal. Turn on the onion skin. This one over ever so slightly. And then aside from the paws moving a little funky, which we can fix, it's like the general energy we're trying to capture with this. So now I can see how I feel about it in terms of like, do I need to make any adjustments to like the base layer? So let's turn off the like blue guy layer, so we can just look at it as is. We might need to adjust the lines. The lines we definitely need to adjust on the top, but like the rest of it is like pretty much there for the most part. We need to adjust the paws. We definitely need to adjust the paws. I think the paws moving around is a bit distracting, but we can actually kind of cheat on that a little bit. I think the body also kind of like whips back and forth pretty violently. How can you make a stun deck to only count as stun decks? Good question, huh? I'd say maybe start with like the eradicated virus or something. Oh, let's get gaming. Hello, Bushin. You're still at work, send help. I'll send you emotional support, Bushin. I'll send you emotional support. You're convinced that's just KBJ? I mean, the KBJ is a forward. So not every forward is KBJ. But KBJ is in fact a forward. So we'll have to do something. We'll have to do something about the pause. Because the pause are like a little inconsistent. And I don't like that. But while we like adjust the pause, let's just go and fix the stuff with the tongue. a meteor coin. But KBJ is in fact a freaky forward. I suppose this is true. KBJ is a freaky forward. Let's see. What can we do about the pause? Okay, so the easiest thing to do is we're going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to call this one original lineup. I'm going to duplicate this one again. We're gonna hide the one that says original lineup. We're gonna make this one called no pause. We're gonna hide this. We are going to go to each individual layer on no pause. And we're going to delete the layer with the pause on each frame. Twitch, how you hitting in the ads? And we're going to do the opposite on the other ones. We're going to save only the pause on that other duplicate set of layers we got. And then we'll decide if we want to use these pause as a guide layer or just make like a general pause on like a separate layer. We can decide from there, chat. We can decide from there. So this is the entire thing without pause. I guess I can ask you all for your opinion. Like, does it look okay if we don't have the pause? Because, like, forwards are, like, very long creatures. Technically, there's a word where you don't even see the pause of the forward. You know. Like, not looking at the pause allows me to look at the rest of the animation to see how I feel about it. I think the neck and the bottom body feels like they whip a little bit fast, but without the pause, it's not as jarring. I think with the pause, it looks a little bit distracting. If we could get the pause to like equally move as fast back and forth, I think it would look more fluid. How about tell? Let's go ahead and see. Now we're gonna go hide this. We're gonna go to the layers. And we're gonna go here and we're gonna save only the pause layer. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to take these pause layers and I'm going to drag them to the top of their respective layers. And then I will proceed to delete everything else. We're going to do that for every single layer. We're going to find the pause. We're going to delete every layer except for the pause. And we're going to rinse and repeat this for every single one of these layers. So we can figure out how we want to do the pause. There's probably like a more efficient way to do this, but this is how my brain wants to go about this, you know? So we're gonna follow this order of operations. almost done. And then we'll pretty much be finished with this forward wiki. Which, like I told you all, that was kind of like the goal of today's latest stream. Also, because I have lift down stuff this week. It's like one less day of the stream. So I figured I'd hang out with y'all like a little bit. Also, a reminder that we have a last-minute Master Duel tournament scheduled for celebratory purposes, and then we have one for build-a-deck purposes going to be to be determined for next month. So we have a couple ways we could do this. There's a world where literally the paws just don't move. And that's like a little strange. Probably. Unless we made them like a little bit smaller. But even then that looks like strange. So we definitely want the paws to move. So I'm gonna call this no move. We're going to call this paws original. And then I'm going to duplicate this. It's gonna be a world where like we just move this ever so slightly over, and that like solves the issues maybe. So we'll see how that works. Not sure if I'm a fan. Like, it might be slightly better, but it just feels kind of fun. Might be because the paws flip. So we have another third option, which is we duplicate this. We hide this. So we would delete this lane. We would duplicate this lane and make this the first lane. Put this horizontal. And we'll do the same again. We put this horizontal. this one more time. Duplicate it. We put pause here. And we actually go and we delete all of these frames from number 4 to number 6. These over. So in theory, goes 2A. And this would be 3, 2. No, this would be 3 here. Would be 2 here. 3 here, 2 here. So how does this work? Okay, we messed something up somewhere along the way. Ah, right, we gotta flip this. Okay. There we go. Knew we were forgetting something. That means I'm gonna duplicate this one more time. And then we gotta duplicate this another time. When are we getting George the Snail fan art? Who's George the Snail? It forward. Hello, Mesa. Girl, my goat, my horse. How are you, fam? Welcome on in. We are hanging out. We're doing some art. How are you, fam? How does this work? I think it's like getting closer to what I want, but it's not as smooth as I would prefer. Oh, geez. Welcome on in. We're trying to finish up this forward emo. I could be really lazy, chat. We could be really lazy and not have the pause at all. I feel like the pause are part of like the freaky emo, so I want to include the pause. Oh, no, this way. Welcome in. Welcome on in. Eek? Thank you. So we gotta figure out the pause. That's the last thing we gotta do. I think the base animation pretty solid. All things considered. We just gotta figure out what to do with the pause. It's like it's going like this. It's going like this. We need the pause to match the intensity. Oh, welcome, Gutta. Welcome, Waiters. I hope you had a good stream, fam. Thank you for the raid. But if y'all don't know Gutta, they are a cyber crit who duels and sometimes does art, amongst other stuff. Blazing Dominion sneak peek. That is a very nice field set, huh? So I'm not really sure. I haven't fully decided on how we want to handle the paws, but the orange snail from Discord called George. That's Sam Snaily. What are you talking about? You mean the one on my icon? Does it have a name? I named mine Sam Snaily. I didn't realize like the snail had an official name. Congrats, Bullshit! Congrats on going home. Spectacular. That's huge, Bullshit. That's huge. I didn't realize the snail had a name. I named it Sand Snaily. Its common name from the fans is George. I see. Well, when I got my snail, I named it Sand Snaily. So to me, that snail is Sand Snaily. The other ones might be called George, but the one I own is Sand Snaily. Sand Snaily. But like it's spelled snaily, like snail, I-E, not like snail with Y. Like I could be really lazy and just send this as is, but I think the like clause is what makes it kind of cute. The third option is we can just draw an entirely new set of paws, which, like, we might just do. We might just draw an entirely new set of paws. But it seems like I can't really decide on something. Snelly is what Squidward named his snail. Snelly. Snelly. Like Nelly, but snail. Snelly. I remember this one very clearly, actually. I don't know why I remember that episode so well, but I really do. Okay, I'm probably wondering, Sam, what are we doing here? I'm trying to draw a paw, chat. I'm trying to draw a paw. Trying to draw a paw for this photo. The abundance of snails. True, there's so many snails. I actually don't know if poets do. Does poets' paws have the little toe beams? Let me go check the reference book. It does. Poets' paws does have the toe beams. Alright. So this is accurate. So try to be a little lazy about this. then we'll duplicate 2. We will flip it horizontal. Now let's see how that looks. I don't know. Like, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. Maybe the reality is, like, we just don't. Maybe we just make the forward face bigger, and it's alright. Pause. Let's hide the pause. Let's go no pause. Let's duplicate this layer. Drag this all the way to the top. And how can I do this for every single layer? Let's see if we can do this. I'm not sure if we can. But we're gonna try to manually adjust every single layer. Like slightly bigger. At least we're going to try. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try. If not, we're just gonna have to like pop it in after we export it. Okay, so that worked. We just need to make it a little bit smaller. So maybe that's the solution, is instead of doing the pause. Hello, Nightsy. Thank you, Michael. It's Nightsy, how are you? We're making forward. We're making forward. So let's do that again where we select every single layer. Let's turn on the onion skin. Adjust this a little bit bigger. Hold. So maybe now we don't need the pause. Yeah, like if I make it this big, we clearly don't need the pause, right? Clearly we don't need the pause if we make it this big. You're ready to take a long walk off a short pier rather than deal with the chatbots? Oh gosh. You have to do a credential for a geology class? Oh, Isaac, welcome on. Thank you. Glad you appreciate it. We're gonna have to resize this one last time. Now I think every single flame. Yeah, now I think every single flame does an overlap. Okay, with the edge. Yeah, so I think that's the emo. I think we just enlarge it and we say heck the pause, chat. We say heck the pause. We don't need to do the pause, chat. We get to be lazy. You just wanted to learn about walks. You know? I would just want to learn about walks too. I would equally be upset if I had to deal with AI chatbots and like build a game. Okay, there's nothing wrong with building a game, but like build a game plus AI chatbots when you just want to look at walks. It's crazy. So chat opinions. Can we be lazy and can we skip the pause on the freaky? Like the focus of the emo is on the tongue thing anyways, right? Like we can skip the pause, right? Like the pause aren't that important, right? Surely we can just leave this as is. Lazy. Lazy. I just don't really know how we're gonna do the pause. I can maybe give it one more go, maybe. Because it is only like 8 flames. So we could maybe give it one more go on the pause, but... I just don't really see how we've been doing them. Yeah, what if the pause are like an abstract concept? What if they're just circles? And we draw the circles first. You're getting McDolland's as a tweet. It's been a long weekend. Tweet yourself. Tweet yourself. Big advocate for tweeting myself. So... You're alive? Hello, Siku. I'm glad you're alive. So how do we want to do this? Let's start with maybe moving these over. Yeah, maybe we can take this one and we can like... we can do this. Yeah, we can do like a little bit of a perspective thing with it. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. And we need to duplicate the 3 layer. it horizontal. I'll go here and two. Are these two the same? No. Yeah, let's just go back. I lost track of which one is which. So let's just go back. Thank you for the snack. Thank you for the hydrate. Draw a recess off the orphanage. Oh, it's good. Looking like that. Okay, chat. Snack ASMR. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the snack. Okay, so number 4 goes here. So we're going to duplicate 2, and we're going to call it 4. And we're going to move it here, because this is actually number 5. Duplicate it. Let 5. Move it over here. Let the horizontal. And then we will see how this looks with the pause. Chad, how does that look? Does that look okay? For the pause, does that look alright? Or does that look distracting? Julio. Did you hear Cheetos? These are actually shrimp chips. So chat, opinions on the pause. How are they looking? No problem. I'm glad you like this theme. I know this one's like a not usual. Hello, Neko. Welcome on in. Yeah, so it's going to be an emote on Twitch. I don't have emotes on YouTube, but I don't think YouTube does animated emotes. So it's going to be an animated emote for Twitch. And I guess also the Discord. So I guess if you all wanted to use this on Discord as well, I can upload it to the Discord. That, like, chat, opinions. Do the pause add anything? Or is it better to just do it without the pause? Because I feel like the pause are just, like, such a minor detail at this point. Because, like, if we don't do the pause, the emote's basically finished. It's fluid. It's the Pokemon fluid. Yeah, YouTube doesn't do animated videos, unfortunately. I'm going to have another snack. It will look a lot more like Fluid once we color it in, of course. No, these are swim chips. No, Killer, these are... You lose your money. You will lose your money. You normally need to donate to have emotes. Yeah, Twitch, you need to subscribe to have emotes. But I do have an extension called 7TV. free. So it's a free browser extension if you download it. I have pretty much almost all my emotes on there for free as well. That y'all can use. So anybody who like puts it in the chat, it comes up on the stream chat as the public emote, and anyone else who has the 7TB extension can also see it. Unfortunately, I don't think they have something like that for YouTube, which it is what it is. I'm not even monetized on YouTube yet, so even if they did have them, I wouldn't be able to offer it. Unfortunately. It is what it is, chat. We will get there little by little. Y'all hanging out with me has been helpful. We're slowly getting the YouTube watch hours. Yeah, I don't have memberships right now. So I don't have memberships yet. I only started doing YouTube recently, so I'm not the most like popular girl on this you know, around the block, but it's okay. We'll get that. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. The membership will be soon. I don't think so, Kippa. Only like halfway there on watch hours. Slowly but surely, Chad. Everything with time and patience. Everything with time and patience. You're losing so much money if you take these bets, Q. You're losing so much money. Yeah, so like, I don't know if y'all have opinions, Chad. Do the pause add anything, like... Does it look cuter with the pause? Does it matter? Or like, do the pause look distracting? Before we go to like, finish coloring this, like, I kind of want to know. Technically, I could still add the pause after the fact, but like, I would rather just figure it out. I like sea creatures. Also, so I used to be a crab. I used to be a crab. My first model was a crab that like I had rigged myself. And done the art for. And then happenstance, somebody was getting rid of this design. And my 1.0 model. And I thought the design was super cute. And it seemed like a reasonable transition from a crab to a lobster. So, that's why my lure has me taking over. My lure has me soul swapping to a different body. The paws make it cuter. Alright, we'll run it with the paws. And so here we are now. I think the design is really cute. I've had a lot of people tell me the design fits me really well. So, I'm really happy to hear that. Because I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people who like have been told that their designs don't fit them at all. So, considering that I didn't even like have much adjustment on the design, twice into the design, I feel like it is very fitting that I kind of just fell into the role, if that makes sense. Like, it makes me really glad that I fit the character. I'm glad that people think that. Because, like, I feel really bad for the people who, like, when people say they don't fit their models. But imagine, like, putting all this effort into making a character, and then people say that, like, you don't suit the character, which I'm sure a lot of those people don't care because they just do it for the aesthetics and the look that they like, you know? Okay, so now we can cheat, chat. We can cheat. You're probably saying, Sam, what does that mean? Now, I'm really bad at line art. What that means is the, like, black lines that you see here. I'm really bad at drawing those well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm gonna hop on over to this layer. And I can add a border effect to the layer. And then we need this to match this. So I'm actually going to do this for this entire layer. And we can be lazy, and now the pause are outlined. Got 'em, chat. Got 'em. How much would a pinecone commission cost? It would depend on like what you wanted to do. Like if you just want it static, like just like a non-moving drawing, like probably like 10 or 15. I think if you wanted like an actual animation, I would have to see the animation before I quote you. You may want him to explode. Do I have the boom bat animation? Pause. Let me see if do I have the boom bat animation. Something like this will kill. This is boom bat. The reason why I animated him still is because I was moving him in the video physically. Art is really hard. Secret tech, yeah, secret tech chat. Art is difficult. Oh yeah, I mean, this is just an example. Obviously, like I'll adjust it. I'm not going to like reuse the thing. But if it's like something like this, like I'll message you. I'll message you. You're home. We can look at it with you. Okay, goodbye, boom bat. Yeah, we can be lazy, chat. We can be lazy. The joys of being lazy. I will clean this up a tiny bit. It's like, although I am lazy, I do have a little bit of pride in my work. So it's like very minor. But I'm just kind of smoothing out the edges just ever so slightly. Finally home. I'm home. almost done. So the next thing we're going to do is this is a classic art trick. First, let's save. Save your progress. Always save your progress. A classic art trick. You take your reference image and you'll take the colors from it. So I'm going to take this here for the color of the fluid ear. Gonna make a new layer. And I'm going to take this color here for the fluid body. And those are going to be... might as well take the color for like the tongue too. For like the inside of the mouth maybe. The tongue we can make like a more vibrant pink. So we'll grab this color and we'll go in here. And we'll make it like a pink. Like that color. Just so it stands out more. You would mostly draw animals. How long ago did I start learning how to draw? So I started actually like... I've always had an interest in animation. So I'm like 100% like self-taught. I never practice it in a structured way either. I'd say like intermittently I work on drawing like maybe like a consecutive 30 to 40 days out of the year. Like not consecutive, a collective like 30 to 40 days out of the year. I think I would also find animals. Draw animals I find cool. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to duplicate the no pods. I'm gonna drag this up. We're gonna duplicate this one. We're gonna hide this one. We're going to call this final. So in each one of these layers, we already had these triangles fleshed out. So we're just going to hop in here and be lazy and fill them in. Work smarter, not harder. Then we're gonna hop back up. I'm going to make a new animation now. Then on this layer, I'm going to select outside. Then what you do is you do this thing called inverting. What you do is you make a selection on this layer that basically will fill in everything outside of the space that you click. But what we do instead is we select that and we invert it. So we can fill in the entire fluid. So we're gonna do that for every single one of these layers. We'll finish filling it in from there. So I have like shortcuts on the keyboard that I can click to do all of this stuff. The only custom keyboard shortcut I have is a custom keyboard shortcut to make a new frame. I used to work in Adobe Flash. So the shortcut to make A flame is the F6 key. So I manually assigned that to the key because I'm used to pressing that key. I didn't like work professionally in Adobe Flash. I messed around with it a little bit as like a kid. Like not as a kid, like when I was in like high school. I think the most notable thing I did with it is I learned how to like basic code ASC2 to make like a little platforming like jumping Flash game. It's like the most I've done with it. I only learned like skills that I find interesting. I don't think I learned anything like actually productive. Oh, I'm sorry, Nikolfi. I missed your message. I was locking in on doing the odd function. I'm sorry. Now we can go back to this layout. You went to college for computer engineering. I went to school for... I have an English degree. So we're just gonna color this in. I might have to change the color of this, we'll see. Because this might be too dark. To make like a proper contrast. Like, it blends in with the, like, the dark. It blends in with the, like, blackish gray that we're using for the line art. So we probably have to change that color for the inside of the mouth. You have to take artistic liberties sometimes, chat. So let's go actually adjust that color right now. I'd say probably like a red. Maybe a little bit. Okay, now that feels like too cartoonishly dark. Maybe the color we had it at before wasn't too bad, to be honest. Oh, hello, Cosmic. Welcome on in. Degrees. I have a very specific set of skills. I don't. Oh, I do kind of pass this. We'll go with this for now, and then we'll watch it play through. And if I want to change the colors after, we can change the colors. So I read a bunch of books. My favorite author. It's actually been a long time since I've been in school. So it's been a long time since I've read. My favorite author. Okay, I'm actually really biased towards like. Okay, I say it's a toss-up between like. So like either like Poe or Mary Shelley. I'm a little bit biased towards like Victoria Elephant. And like I like reading stuff from those time periods. Big like Jekyll and Hyde fan. Like Jack the Ripper fan. So A trick is if you select the like layer chat, you don't accidentally color outside of the lines if you select the like the section that you want to color in. So that's what I do because my hand is not as steady as probably like professional artists. And then when I go over places I don't want to go over, I just erase it. Because the fun thing about digital art chat is that it's very forgiving. I appreciate as a medium that it's very forgiving. One of my girlies is very into like Agatha Christie. Big Agatha Christie fan. Which honestly like shout outs to her. She's an actual girl boss. My young aunt does like keeping up with like Asian American authors. So she like tries to read a lot of this stuff that you like see getting adapted into like films and such. Like the crazy rich Asians. That's like a whole like book series. What do you mean the hag allegations? Wait, what? I didn't realize that these were still allegations. Like, I know I'm not pushing 40 yet, chat. Goodness me. But like, I ask a lot of her age. You might read Christie too, yeah. So like, chat, the coolest thing about Agatha Christie, if y'all don't know, so she does a lot of stuff related to like horror novels and like stories in that genre. The coolest thing about her is that like she's actually like well versed in like the well-versed in knowledge about like poisons. In fact, like the description of a lot of the poisons in her like novels is so accurate that they're like actually used and like described in like toxicology classes, which is like insane. Like she's an author who actually like writes about like, you know, a legitimate science that she studies. So very cool lady. So that genre sounds kind of cool to y'all. You can go read that solo boss. She's very cool. Nothing but respect for her. Yeah, no, she's very... What I have a big on poetry. Yes and no. So, if y'all don't know, Mary Shelley was actually married to Percy Shelley. And she and her husband, Percy Shelley, and their good friend, Lord Byron, had a little literature club together where they would write stories. And that's actually how Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. Is Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, and Percy said to each other, "How we have a contest. Who can write the scariest story?" And so, in writing that, she actually made Frankenstein. And her husband, who was also a poet, bless his heart, actually loved supporting her hobby. She was around in a time where like women were definitely not allowed to publish. And we only have her works now because her husband was just very progressive and just really supportive of her interest in her talent. Also, like, she's so metal, chat. She's so metal. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, she lost her virginity on her mother's grave. She's so real for that. She's so real for that, chat. Would I do that? No, but like, I respect it. I respect it. I respect her as a woman. I respect her for that. Would I do it? No. However, like, more power to you, girlie. still in the fluid. Nice to see the fluid becoming a real thing. Hello, Funa. That doesn't sound too comfy. Look, I'm not trying to say whether it was not convenient. I'm not here to, like, live her choices. I'm just saying I respect her decisions. You're gonna read a book on mystery writing because you really want to make that part of your story to land? Yeah, so Agatha Christie writes, like, a lot of, like, murder mystery novels. Bacon Francis, the guy who invented the bacon cheeseburger? I'm not sure. I don't know if the groundskeeper was there for that. I sure hope not. I sure hope not for his sake. She and her husband were crazy. But, like, in all the best ways. So, the reason why I bring this up is because Lord Byron and Percy Shelley are best remembered as poets. That's why I bring this up. That's why it's relevant. So I have read some of their stuff. In terms of, like, poems. So, like, everyone calls me a nerd when I bring this poem up. Everyone calls me a nerd. I'll explain. The reason why everyone calls me a nerd is because this poem is often a poem that is read and studied in American English classes. So I'm American, and a lot of the people I interact with are American. And so this is why they call me a nerd. It is a poem by Percy Shelley, husband of one of my favorite authors. One of my favorite poems is Ozymandias. So if y'all have never, like, read Ozymandias, it is a poem depicting, like, the basically, like, the leftover ruins of Egyptian, like, architecture. Specifically, like, the tomb of Ozymandias when that was described. And so, like, the British were, like, all over the pyramids, like, way back when. And so it's a poem that people study in classes because it's, like, very short. And, like, and Percy Shelley's, like, considered, like, a classic author. So, like, that's why they like, you know, study it. I just really like the scene that he sets with the poem. And I like a lot of the wording that he uses is, like, not only very dramatic, but, like, I think it just had, like, a big impact to me as, like, a younger person. Like, I feel like if you don't pay attention in class, you're like, oh, whatever. I, like, heard the poem and I said, you know what, like, I understand what people say now when authors use, like, imagery and, like, they're really trying, like, to, you know, describe things. I think he does, like, a very good job of setting the scene, the tone, describing what he's trying to do. Like, I'm just gonna sound like a nerd! They're gonna tell me to go back to English class! Like, I really did also like ancient Egypt as a kid, so maybe that's just me kind of being a little bit of a nerd, but, like, I really did enjoy that poem a lot, actually. American-born lobster, yeah, I know. My quiz. You wanna know what about neurocognitive poetics? It's not a field that I'm super familiar with. I have a lot of friends who, like, in the English field work with, like, speech pathology. So they're, like, SLPs. And they help people, like, learn to get over some of their impediments with speech. Sometimes it's stuff like lists. Other times it's just helping people catch up with learning, like, new languages. Because you see, my family's Vietnamese. They came to America during the Vietnam War. So why that's relevant is because a lot of people don't realize that, like, a lot of immigrants also sometimes, like, struggle with properly processing to, like, a new language. So there's, like, a big shortage on SLPs that are, like, you know, multilingual, like, polyglots, or just bilingual. And so that's, like, a field that is, like, slowly expanding, but it's just really hard to get people into that field because it's, like, it's a big ask sometimes, too. It's a big ask to, like, have people learn it in these professions, especially with, like, It's one thing to help kids in school, right? People don't realize that like you can go to an SLP as like an adult to help you with stuff. And I think when you're an adult, not only do you have less time to seek help, sometimes it's like just really difficult to seek help. Some people don't realize how much like having that kind of assistance can really help you. Because I know a lot of people, Chad, who are like extremely intelligent, very intelligent. Some of the most intelligent people you will ever meet. Right? But the thing is, English isn't their first language. And if you hear them like try to articulate themselves in their native tongue, they are so succinct. They know so much. They know so much, Cat. They know so much. They know like every word. But you know, when like English isn't your first language, not like it's hard to like translate stuff, you know? It's sometimes hard to like get that same level of articulation, that same level of understanding across a barrier to a whole nother language. And so it really upsets me when like people don't understand that. Because it's like, no, like this person is really intelligent. It's very close-minded of you to assume that just because they can't properly communicate themselves, that they don't know what they're talking about. But that's just me. That's just me. And other people are allowed to have their opinions. I got maybe a sore spot on that, just because, like, yeah, you know, I talk like this too. Some people, sometimes when they hear this, they think there's something wrong with me. But like, I'll have you know. I'm not dumb. Not dumb at all. I also think it's like really shallow to judge someone based on like such a superficial like thing. Because you don't know anything about them. You don't know their experiences. You don't know their story, etc., etc. Yeah, that's just me, Chan. That's just me. Me and my opinions. Me yapping. So, like, I think that's like definitely something. What's the word? Oh, I understand. Okay. Let's merge these to be a little lazy. Alright, I saw what happened there, but it's fine. We're almost done with the emote. So it's fine. The lobster is culture. Talk about your passion. That's the stuff you live for. Oh, thank you. I'm not trying to train to be like one of those SLPs. Unfortunately, in America there was a time in schools, American school system, where they were really frowning upon you speaking your native language in schools. So they like eradicated my ability to be like to speak my native tongue. And my folks probably could have tried harder to get me to speak my language. But my younger brother is one of those kids who had a speech impediment. And they were worried that, my folks were worried that if we spoke multiple languages at home, that he wouldn't have the ability to speak proper English. And that would get him judged. And they didn't want that because they're also immigrants. They know what it's like. So we stopped speaking my native language at home when we could help it to make sure that, like, you know, we can at least speak English. We're in America. You gotta speak English. One of his uncles speaks English in America. So I didn't really get a lot of practice on my native language as much as I should have growing up. That's why I don't really speak a lot of Vietnamese. I can kind of understand it when people talk at me sometimes, but there's definitely, like, just a lot of words that I don't catch. Don't get me started on the speaking thing. I'm terrible at it. It's actually not the most difficult, but it's a relatively difficult language to speak because it's a tonal language. So what that means is that if I say something wrong, like with the wrong tone and intonation, it means a completely different word. So if I say like, hi, how you doing, versus like, if I say like the word hi or like hello versus hello, me saying hello versus hello has two different meanings. That's kind of what that is. So there's a lot of like inflection and a lot of stuff that goes into it. Makes it real complicated. Chinese is the same way. It's also a tonal language. So just the way that you say stuff really changes the meaning. It's a little darn complicated, yeah. It's also not like a pretty language to hear like verbally. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the Vietnamese people. Like Xin Loi Bang, but like Vietnamese sounds kinda not pretty when you hear it out loud. Like, I don't know which way to like swing that. Fight me on it. Vietnamese is not a pretty sounding language when you speak it. It's just not. You were raised in a bilingual home. Yeah, like, oh, I think it's good to have like multilingual, like I think it's good to speak your native language at home. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like when I was in schools growing up, America had this thing called No Child Left Behind, and it was this huge like propaganda about making sure that like quote unquote kids would have better education. And then here's the most upsetting thing. So my parents had walked me down as Vietnamese being my first language, and technically this is true. Technically my folks spoke more Vietnamese than they did English. But I know better English than like half these kids in the class, but I'd have to like spend half, like a good quarter of the day or something in class like quote unquote learning English. When like I was at a higher reading level than these other kids who like didn't have to do it just because English was listed as their first language. It was just like very frustrating to me as like a younger kid in school. Because it's like, what do you mean? I already know this word. I'm speaking to you in perfect English right now. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy, Chad. It was crazy. And like, they wouldn't let you test out. Like, it was really hard to test out of it if English wasn't listed as your first language. It was crazy. It was insane. Everyone else got like free time for like an hour, and I had to sit there and do like I don't know what exercise they had. It was crazy. Toxic emos as the dangerous environment GHS symbol and not the toxic GHS symbol. So the reason why it's dangerous for the environment is because that emo can be interpreted as aquatic toxicity, and I'm a lobster V2. So sometimes that symbol is actually used to like denote things specifically toxic to the environment, not just toxic. Yeah. So like aquatic toxicity is sometimes how that is going to be interpreted, and that's why I use that GHS symbol instead of the other one. Hey, hello, welcome on in. Your grandpa would only speak to you in English and he refused to speak to you in Spanish. I think he probably just wanted you to practice. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I can't speak for him obviously, but I think it's the same thing with my folks. Is like, if you're in a country that like uses a lot of English, or like has English being like the main language, I think your like older folks would want you to make sure that you're like learned on English, for better or for worse, yeah. Like, I think they're only like thinking of good things, you know, on your behalf, if and when they're doing that. Let's continue coloring for it. But yeah, so we're almost done with the fluid. We just need to color in these. And I have to decide if I want to add any lighting effects. Let's see. Is there any other literature that I'm like a huge fan of? I like, some other poets I like. I like Robert Frost, which, like, okay. This goes back to me being a little bit of a nerd. They also study his poems in school sometimes. And it's like, man, like, I'm sorry that the good poets sometimes are the ones that they study in school. Like, I suppose I could have tried harder to find contemporary poets. You know, I suppose. Sue me. I don't know. I don't know. Perhaps I could try harder to find contemporary poets. It's been a hot minute since I've had time to like actually read poetry. I was once in like an actual literature club where like instead of like reading books, we would physically write like writing pieces and then read each other's pieces and then give each other like feedback on the pieces. So it'd be like a week or 2 weekly, like bi-weekly, twice a month, like every 2 week type thing, where we get like a prompt, and we were supposed to like write a writing piece on the prompt. Give it whatever you want. It could be a poem, it could be a story, whatever you felt like showing, right? And then we would read each other's pieces. We would like write up our comments and our notes, and then we would sit down and we would discuss each piece. So I'd be like, okay, let's look at let's look at Trainer Forward's poem. And we'd all sit down and we'd all like talk about like what we, you know, different stuff, like our interpretations. Maybe sometimes like the authors had like questions for us, you know, like in general. And we just have like a whole discussion about it and talk about like our pieces to each other. It was very cute. I do not have nearly as much free time to do that anymore. Ode to the Onion? I'm not sure. That sounds like... It sounds familiar, but like... It's been ages since I've been in school. Ages, I tell you. Ages! Also, I should probably save up this on the email. You would want to learn poetry to apply it to prose, to create rhythmic prose. I guess it also depends on like what kind of like poetry you're attempting to like. So there's rules in poetry, chat, but once you learn the rules, that's when you get to like break the rules. So it depends on like what kind of box you want to put yourself into the poetics. Like, are you trying to like follow? Are you trying to follow rhyming patterns? Are you trying to follow iambic pentameter? Are you trying to follow? Oh gosh, I forget the literary term. There's a term where like the sounds of words. It's not rhyming as much as it is like, I forget what it is. Like, so like, she sells seashells down by the seashore. The sh sound. Having all of those sounds together is actually its own specific type of literary device. It's not like an alliteration with SSS. It would be like, so like, Sam Sally spends Saturdays sleeping. That's alliteration. SSSS. But she shops sheepishly. The SHSH. The sh all together. Although it falls into the realm of alliteration because it starts with S for all of those. Specifically the sh. The grouping of those sounds together and similar sounds, like a whoosh or a swoosh, like down by the shore, whooping through the winds, like those kind of sounds grouped together create their own type of like literary form that I'm forgetting the name of. But how many states did the US have when I graduated? Excuse me? What? What do you mean, how many states did the US have? Like, are you talking about, like, provinces like Puerto Rico? Or like, you talking about like Puerto Rico and like Guam? Or... Of course the US had 50 states, like... Come on, goodness me. Look, I can confirm one thing for y'all. By the time I was born, the Republic of Bangladesh had already independentized itself, okay? I can tell you I'm at least younger than 50. Goodness me. Goodness me. Goodness me. Alright, chat. I think we're going to wrap this up, and I might have to put the final details on this later. We've been going for like 2.5 hours, and I kind of need to have a shorter stream this evening. So not that I don't like yapping with you, I appreciate yapping with you. Unfortunately, I think our time for yapping has come to an end. But like, I'll at least finish up the pink for the tongue, and we can see how it looks before we add the details. I want to add more details. Like highlights and shadows and such. Like really good progress. I think we could have finished it if it weren't for the fact that like I was really stuck on what I wanted to do with the toys. Ah, shoes. Wrong layer. So let's finish coloring in the tongue, and then let's see how this looks. We'll add more details to this later. But I think pretty solid progress. Sometimes art goes by really fast, sometimes it doesn't, it really depends. So let's go ahead and save. Let's see how this is going. Hello, Lucia. Welcome on. Thank you for the pets. You wanna master the new aesthetic of poetry, the alliteration, the other rhetorical figures, what you're trying to learn these days. I wish you luck with that. My emphasis was actually... okay. Technically, like, you can't say that you have an emphasis. Because, like, it's not listed on your degree, technically. I did, like, a little bit of rhetoric. It definitely wasn't English education, I can tell you all that before. I don't think I'm well suited to be a teacher. I could be wrong. Like, I don't think I do, like, poorly with kids or like, I don't know. So this is how it's turning out. We're almost done, chat. I think all things considered, this is pretty solid. I think it's very much looking like a photo. I think it's very much looking like a photo, chat. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me for this stream. I gotta wrap some stuff up and get things ready for the evening and the next day. But two streams today. Ooh, chat. This sounds like a very exciting stream. All of us is going to be flipping coins. That sounds like a really fun stream, chat. So I'm going to send y'all on Twitch over to Dearest of Us because he's flipping coins. So shoutouts to the furrier. A reminder if like y'all like Yu-Gi-Oh and such. The Master Duel tournament, there's a last minute one happening this Friday. Then there is another one happening next month. Date to be determined, to be announced Friday. So thank you all for hanging out. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. Send dearest always all my love to you. Thank you for coming out, YouTube, and hanging out. I'll see you all when I see you. Merry Christmas me. But I hope you have a nice rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. Do take care of yourselves. Thank you again for the support on the Sand Sally Field. Y'all sure know how to make me feel cool sometimes. I'm really glad that you'll enjoy it. It's very flattering and it's very fulfilling because I'd like to think that I'm just really glad that people enjoy something that I design, you know? So I'll see you all when I see you. Send all us all my love. Why is the forward so freaky? Because that's the emote. See you all when I see you, and just remember that you're all in my thoughts. Wanda and Wade. Bye bye, folks. And sweet.